Good morning or good evening or whatever time that you're watching this. Welcome to Hollywood Impact. My name is Christian. I am technically the host of this show. And today we are going to talk about Superman, directed by James Gunn, the start to the new DCU, and starring David Corenswet as Superman, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Now, let me just get right into it. There is a lot to love with this movie. It is colorful, it is vibrant. There is just an energy to this movie that really just puts itself in a different category than all the other Superman films that we've seen before, because this is like the 6th or 7th, I don't know how many Superman films there's actually been, but this is one of the many Superman films we've had up to date, up to this point, and this is, in my opinion, the best one that we've had thus far. There is so much good acting in here. The CGI is great. The action is great. The emotional moments really hit. They don't capitalize on some of the emotional things, and we'll kind of get into a little bit of that later. But for the most part, everything kind of works here. It's a little rushed. It throws you into the middle of the action. I think that's one of the things that people disliked about it is, oh, well, they just kind of throw you right in the middle of it. There's no context. There's no origin. There's no power discovery stuff. And while that's true, we've had so much Superman stuff that it kind of expects you to know, like, hey, if you're coming to see this movie, it's probably because you already kind of know what Superman is. And they change a few things in the story. No spoilers here, of course, not until later. But I will say for sure, David Corenswet is Superman. He is great in this film. He really embodies that love, hope, justice, the American way, that sort of thing, like being there for not just every person he can, but even things like animals and things like that. All of those things are important to him, and the world is important to him. You don't get as much of the Clark Kent stuff. He really spends a lot of the runtime being Superman, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, but it can feel a little bit lackluster, where sometimes those emotional moments that have him being Clark Kent aren't always capitalized because you don't see enough of his alter ego, like in his regular day-to-day shoes. You just see bits and pieces, but you get enough, and you get enough emotional stuff to keep you invested and to keep you loving the characters that they're building here. The Justice Gang, they're pretty cool. They don't really take away from anything. There is the Green Lantern and the Hawk Girl and Mr. Terrific. They're all great in this movie. They all have their role. James Gunn uses them sparingly and not like over convolutes everything by throwing them in every scene. They have their place, and it works for this film. I want to talk about Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor because he is great. I really like him. He's one of my favorite parts of this film. Some people have said like, oh, he's kind of an odd casting choice, but the acting that he does, even though he may not necessarily look like the most Lex Luthor-y type person we've seen, he really embodies the character. And I love that. He hates Superman. He clearly defines in the film why he hates Superman and what he plans to do. And I think we're kind of early on in his career, and so maybe as time goes along, I think he'll shape more into the Lex that we kind of know from the comics and from the cartoons and whatnot, and the other things we've come to expect. Krypto's in this movie. Krypto's cute. It's adorable dog. It's just so cute. The whole movie is just fun. It's energetic. There's some amazing, gorgeous shots in here. The characters are likable. There's a lot of stuff from the Daily Planet that I think takes a little bit away from the movie that I didn't necessarily find myself as connected with, but because it throws you into the middle of the action, it expects you to understand, oh, like, this is this person, this is this person, and they're just kind of there. There's not really a backstory portion to them, so some of the characters in there are a little shallow, but they do serve a purpose in the film. Overall, I think this is a great film. I was hoping for it to be like a 9 out of 10 or higher. I was really super hyped for this film, and it is still really good, but I'm gonna settle with an 8.5 because I think that is what it deserves. I think that it is a great film. I think it's better than a lot of Marvel films, but it does have its issues. It does have some clear issues. There's a few continuity changes that are very odd. There's a couple odd choices in lines or scenes. Some of the emotional moments aren't necessarily capitalized on as well as they should have been, but there is still a lot to love. And if you like Superman or superhero stuff, This is a movie to see. It is inspirational. It is just heroic, and that is the best way to embody this film, is just inspirational and heroic, and that's exactly what you want out of Superman. For the next large chunk of this video, I'm actually going to, as is with Superman, I'm going to interview some of the other cast who got to watch this film, and we get to kind of see all of their thoughts instead of just having like a round table. You kind of get to hear their like little individual thoughts, and we'll just go ahead and get right into that. What was your favorite parts of the film?
When Lois interviewed Superman, that's done in the original 78 version, the Donner version.
Yeah.
And I really liked that. I really liked their dynamic. I really liked Rachel Brosnahan as Lois.
Golly, you think I would have been prepared for this simple question? Probably, I'm a big Nathan Fillion guy, so anytime the Justice Gang was on screen,
Guy Gardner.
Yeah, Guy Gardner. I like it. I like Nathan Fillion. Go watch The Rookie.
The Mr. Terrific fight scene.
It's so good.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
And that was another character I was kind of worried about. You know, like, how are they going to get all these guys in here? But that dude was cool.
It's very James Gunn.
It is very James Gunny. The music and just all of that. I loved it. Thought it was cool.
Mr. Terrific's great. Anything with them, with Superman, I like.
So your favorite part of the film was not Superman?
I like it when he's there with them.
I'm just teasing you.
I know, you crazy interviewer.
The first one that came to my mind was where Lois and Clark are sitting in their apartment and they have the dimensional imp outside of their window.
Great scene.
It's just in the middle of the night, because it was really, I thought it was really fun because it showed like kind of a more tender moment between the two of them, and it still showed that there were like things going on in the world, and those things were kind of lighthearted in a sense.
The last scene that really got me was when Clark goes back to Kansas and he's talking to his dad.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I agree.
And dude, it's like, I'm at a point in my life where, you know, I have adult kids now.
Right.
And it's like, I could have that same conversation and get choked up talking to any one of my 3 kids, just like that.
What was your least favorite part of the film?
I'd say it's gotta be Lex Luthor's intelligence.
His intelligence.
Yeah. I didn't love his crew of employees. It made him seem like he's not the big bad, like he's not super intelligent. Just having all these people do the work for him, and like they're the ones controlling Ultraman. Like, sure, he makes some call outs, but like, I don't know, I didn't buy that that's really like the tough Lex Luthor. I love, he does hate Superman.
Mm-hmm.
They get that down. And especially Nicholas Holt's like facial expressions. That
Awesome.
dude hates Superman.
Like his acting, super good.
Yes, so he's got room to grow. He didn't seem like the intelligent Lex Luthor that I know.
Lex Luthor still. Yeah. Lex Luthor, I think, because you brought up some good points after we watched the movie, where you said that it's kind of early on in his career. Like, it's his first appearance in this new, James Gunn universe. And I think I agree with that, but I still don't I like Nicholas Hoult in general, but I don't think it was a good call for Lex Luthor specifically. Not because of his acting ability, but literally just because of his physicality. I think his frame is just not the Lex Luthor that I'm used to seeing. All the Lex Luthors that I remember from growing up have been like Kevin Spacey was one of them, bigger guy, and all the animated stuff. He's always got these real broad shoulders, blocky head, So the physicality just wasn't there for me, but the acting was great.
Yeah. Is this the best version of Superman that we've seen?
Christian, let me tell you something. Of our group that does this is my 4th Superman.
Yeah.
That I have grown up from Christopher Reeves to Brandon Routh, Henry Cavill, David Corenswet. They're all so good in their own way. I don't know if I'm ready to answer that yet.
Sure.
For me, yes. I
agree too.
I probably haven't seen a Christopher Reeves film in like 20 years. And I like Henry Cavill, but that Superman kills people and he's too stoic.
Yeah.
He's not a lot of personality. I would say yes. This is my favorite Superman.
I loved the Henry Cavill versions just because Henry Cavill's freaking awesome. And it could be in future installments, after I've seen another 1 or 2 movies with this version of Superman in it, I think there's a possibility that it could be my favorite version.
To be determined.
To be determined, yes.
Is this James Gunn's best movie?
I think it's right up there with First Guardians.
Is it his best? No. One of his best, yes. I would say it probably ranks third, because I think I'd put like 2 of the Guardians movies above it, and then probably the Superman movie. So yeah, pretty high up there. Very good.
No. Guardians 1 is easily better. I think it's in the mix with Guardians 3, and I really like that Suicide Squad movie. I think all 3 for me. I would say you like Guardians 3 better than
I do.
Superman.
Guardians 3 is my favorite. Of the 3.
I think they're similar, but for me, Guardians 1, top tier James Gunn. He might have never topped that in my opinion. And then Guardians 3, Suicide Squad, and the Superman movie are all interchangeable for me.
Where does this rank among all-time great comic book films?
This would be A tier for sure. I don't think I'd call it S tier. I'd probably say middle A. This is a good, very good, solid middle A film.
You know, I think Batman with Robert Pattinson's better than this. It's not quite among the greats, but it's very good.
I think it's up there. I think it's better than a lot of Marvel stuff, to be honest with you. Like if I did my top 10 Marvel, I think I would bump. I mean, I think Superman would probably be. Ooh.
It's hard, isn't it?
I think it would make. I think it would definitely make the top 10 easily.
Right.
Possibly top 7.
Was this film better than Man of Steel?
I think so.
You think so? How big of a margin do you think it is?
I need to go rewatch it to be fair, like to give it a critical, thought, like how close I think they are.
Sure.
But just going off what I remember from Man of Steel, I definitely like this one more. I would say just guessing what I would rate Man of Steel without have seen it, like it's been like over 5 years since I've seen Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Like Superman's an 8, Man of Steel's a 6 or 7.
You and I both like Man of Steel.
We do both like Man of Steel. And here's the issue. One of the bummers, it doesn't detract from the movie. It's not a reason that it's not a perfect 10 film for me. But one thing that Man of Steel did have that this one didn't was the power discovery scenes.
Yeah, like sort of like an origin film.
Yeah, right. Not so much necessarily an origin. Like I don't need to see his pod crash on Earth, but I love watching superpowers test their new powers out. And so like watching Man of Steel, do the jumping up in the Arctic Circle or wherever his Fortress of Solitude is in that film. Yeah, I love that. So, but overall, I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
But it's close, is what you're saying.
But it's close. Yeah, it's probably like this film is like an 8 or an 8.5. And then Man of Steel is probably like a 7.5.
Yeah.
Or maybe somewhere between 7.5 and 8. So it's close.
I think we needed to go through the Man of Steel phase where we needed to see, all right, let me see a cool Superman. Superman with a beard. Superman jacked. Superman just kicking ass.
Yeah.
Breaking Zod's neck. Didn't want to, did it anyway. I think we needed to go to have that phase, and that's not to discount Man of Steel at all, because I love Man of Steel.
Yeah.
But I think we needed to go through that to get more to what Superman it really is all about. With that, and then the choice to do Batman v Superman, and then the way they did Justice League, Joss Whedon, kiss my ass on that. That movie was awful. The Snyder Cut's good, but
Snyder Cut's so good.
But what the Justice League movie, and just everything just kind of, I don't know, it went south.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of external factors to that.
True.
It probably is a slightly better but different movie than Man of Steel.
Does this film give you hope for the trajectory of the DCU?
Oh, yeah, it does.
He's like, oh, hell yeah, brother.
Absolutely. It absolutely does.
That's kind of what Eric said, except Eric used a curse word. So.
Dadgummit, Eric. As much as I like James Gunn's style, he shouldn't be directly involved in every project, like inserting his humor and filming style. But it definitely gives me hope as being the head, the Kevin Feige figure.
What score would you give this movie?
I would give this an 8.5 out of 10.
I'm going to give this movie an 8.5.
8.5. That's exactly where I landed, actually.
I wanted to give it a really high score.
I think it's an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
It's a great standalone film, super entertaining, really fun action sequences. I like James Gunn's camera work. I know he's not the actual cinematographer, but he has his style. It's clearly It's similar to Guardians, which all great movies.
Mhm.
So I love the style. Superman as a character, I love how humane he is. They show him saving people a lot, how much he cares for life, not just human.
Yes.
And that's all to me like what Superman is. And so this movie does a good job of that. And even though they're not super prevalent, like they introduce a Justice Gang, they're cool. I like the characters. So really good Superman movie, great introduction to DCU. There's a lot of like plot issues and writing conveniences that kind of take it down, but I'm not that nitpicky on this one. I still think it's a good movie, so 8 out of 10.
Like, I wanted to go watch it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think, to be fair, you know, I need to let it sit a little bit, and then I don't want to just throw out a 10 just because I'm feeling good about it. But I think regardless, it'll be a solid 8.5.
It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of weird messaging inside the film. Gunn, in my opinion, pretty good, pretty solid director when it comes to these kind of action, kind of comical superhero films. So overall, the mood, I think, fits Superman really well. The Henry Cavill versions definitely, and the Snyder and all that, kind of went on to the darker end, which is fine. I think it was cool to have like a one-off little spurt of like, here's a little darker, grittier version of Superman.
Sure.
But I like kind of returning back to the roots of the more lighthearted, truth, justice, and the American way, all that kind of stuff. The action scenes were very well executed, I thought.
100%.
Yeah, I never felt like I was overly confused. It never felt like it was just a blur of moving objects on the screen. It always felt like the action scenes had a bit of a flow. All the characters seemed really personable and relatable for the most part. Music, pretty dang fantastic. So, but then I've already mentioned a couple of the reasons that it's not a perfect film. It didn't like blow me away completely. It was really good, and I was engaged the whole movie, but not earth-shattering.
For a spoiler question, if you could change anything about this film, what would you change? Something that you were like, I'm not sure if I like that. Or I wish I had more of this or less of this. The one thing that if you had control of, what would you change?
Bradley Cooper is Jor-El.
The casting? The casting?
Well, I kind of slightly was like, is that Bradley Cooper?
It is.
I would change that message. I would make it to where it was definite that Lex cooked that. And because I want Jor-El to be a good dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you could change one thing, one particular thing, out of everything in the film, spoilers included, what do you change?
Lex Luthor's actor.
I figured you would.
Yeah.
This could change with Lex in the future, but I think I'd make him more
Intimidating?
Yeah, I kind of want to see him, how he would handle Superman without all these intelligent employees. Like, I want to see Lex Luthor, just Lex Luthor, and how he would battle Superman, not physically. How
I want to see Lex Luthor fight Superman in a boxing
I want to
match.
see him in his suit right now.
There's one quick thing I wanted to say.
Go ahead.
This movie is not woke.
No.
This movie is not anti-woke.
Correct.
These people this is why the internet sucks sometimes. It's like you got a bunch of monkeys from the pocket universe just trying to do something to get people riled up. This movie, for those of you that have seen these, I've seen both sides saying, this is a super woke movie, this is it's neither. Okay? So rest assured, just go in and enjoy seeing Superman on the big screen done well. I just want to get that out there because that shit drives me nuts.
Yeah, fair. I think it's 100%.
Freaking Superman.
Yeah.
All right?
It's a comic book
And
character.
logically, it wouldn't make sense. Why would James Gunn go one way or the other? With so much writing on this film, to kick off his whole DCU.
He's not going to alienate half of his audience.
Exactly.
He's not stupid.
Okay, so just far left, far right, just cut it out and just go watch Superman. I just want to get that out.
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, we hope that you all have a great rest of your day.